change. Yeah, we need change in America.
Peace and hope. I want the war to end. So I think peace is a great thing for the world anyway. I really don't like war, and I don't like this war. I want to make sure I safeguard my children and other people's children.
Bringing the soldiers home from Iraq is a big priority. I mean, if you want to top a questionable war over Vietnam, we just did it. I personally think so anyway. And lost young people from the tribe, lost former students in this war, and it was all over very, very, very questionable, ridiculous stuff. These are, very talented, very bright young people who we've lost this way. So yeah, that's a big priority.
I think that we really need to focus on topics in sustainability and how we can really focus on making our environment a safe and stable place and not focus so much on overseas and topics we're not quite sure if they're actually going on or not.
I think we've got to turn away from this very rigid American kind of centrism. It's a very diverse world, and I think the most hopeful approach for peace and prosperity is to have a different viewpoint.
There's not that many jobs in New Bedford, and I'm interested in making jobs more available for young people and having them pay well and having them be safe jobs.
Healthcare, cost of living, these are important issues. People can't afford, the cost of living, people can't afford apartments, people are losing their houses. And it's markedly different. For example, a highway worker 40, 50 years ago could have bought a house, put his kids through college on his salary. Show me a highway worker who can do that now, one-income family. It's not going to happen. That's obvious that there's a serious economy problem. And yeah, South Coast, we're in the Northeast, so heating oil.
Like, what is everybody not talking about that they should be talking about?
Our changing role in the global community.
The image of America, across the world, basically, just what people think of us, if they like us, if they dislike us, what sort of alliances and enemies we're making. See what president is going to, repair the image that may have been tarnished over the past 4 or 8 years, and just what they're going to do for foreign policy, stuff like that.
It's no longer the era of an American superpower. We have to be more respectful and sensitive to other cultures.
Definitely universal health care. I think that's a huge issue that people are actually getting hammered right now doing their taxes for not having health insurance, probably because they can't afford it. So definitely universal health care for me, and ending the war.
Jobs, entry-level positions, emphasis on creating more.
Massachusetts has marriage rights for gay and lesbian couples, and I would want that to reach all of Massachusetts. All of the United States.
We need to talk more about that. The language of America here said immigrant. What immigrant? The most people are the immigrant American people. Come on, they came from a different part of the world, and they call my people immigrant. For what? My people just come in just for opportunity. So if it's a problem here in America, then to have to immigrate in another country, they have to leave them alone. Basically, that's all I gotta say.
I think the only direction you really can go is forward. I think a lot of the times we stay still or we move backwards. We slide backwards in either foreign relations or even here at home. There's issues, racial issues, gender issues. People that feel they don't have a voice. A minority that is waiting to speak out. And I think that the only direction that is positive is to go forward.
Pay attention to the problems that it has at home more than problems abroad. I think that we should pull out of Iraq as much as we can, kind of as soon as we can. I think that corporations that are in foreign countries should have to abide by the same laws that they would in this country. That if they're calling themselves citizens of the United States, that they need to kind of behave more according to the laws that are in the United States.
I think we have to be more open-minded about other people's cultures and other people's national interests. So I'd like to see us take a more complementary role with other nations and other regions of the country.
I really like to see people get away from the religious right. Religion is completely wonderful, but I think what people really need to learn is that not necessarily everyone shares the views that you have, and I think that the separation of church and state should just be a little bit more defined, I think.
Education really needs to become a focus. Education, culture, 7 arts and sciences across the board. Because I'm looking at what I can only see is like the dumbing down of America, and we can't do it. You can't have a country of stupid people, and and it's really dangerous when you're gonna end up living with a country of stupid people with masters and doctorates and stuff, but because we just made everything real easy to get through.
We all the same. We all need, a better life here.